Good morning, Gaudi. It's Friday, the 22nd of January, and it's Friday. So thank you for all of you to logging on to YouTube and going through the videos and doing all your learning and uploading it to Tapestry. Thank you very much. And you worked really hard, to give yourselves a round of applause. Now, can I answer questions about a text by reading and listening to it? So we've been looking at the book Man on the Moon, A Day in the Life of Bob, and we've come to the end of our story. For the last 2 weeks, we've been answering questions about the book, and as we said, last week we left Bob with the tourists. Let's see what happens next. Oh, where's my cursor? Oh, here it is. Here we go. So what we'll do is there's a piece of text at the top which I will read to you, and there are some questions. If you'd like to answer the questions yourself, you may, and you can pause the video, see if you get the right answer. If you'd like to go through it with me, that's fine too. By 4:30, all visitors must leave the moon. Bob looks around to see that everyone has left. He checks inside any big craters in case anyone has fallen in, but there's never anyone there. Our question is, who is left on the moon at 4:30? Who is left on the moon at 4:30? If you'd like to have a go at this independently, pause the video here. Right, so what we need to do is we need to get our pen ready for a start. Here we go. Who is left on the moon at 4:30? So we're looking for the keywords 4:30 and who's on the moon. By 4:30, here's our first few words that we need. 4:30 on the moon. So we know that our answer is somewhere in the beginning of our text. Let's read it. By 4:30, all the visitors must leave the moon. Bob looks around to see that everyone has left. So if everybody's leaving at 4:30, who's left behind? That's right, it's Bob, because he is the one who's checking to see if anyone's been left behind. So the visitors have gone and it's just Bob that's left behind. Question 2. What is a crater? We have 3 options. A rocket that goes into Earth. Let's try again. A rocket that goes to Earth. A hole on the moon's surface. Or C, a box that can stack. Let's go back to our question. What is a crater? There are 3 options. And if we go and locate the word craters, here we go. This is the word that we're after. He checks inside any big craters in case anyone's fallen in. Do we think it's a rocket that goes to Earth? No, we don't. It might be a hole that's on the moon's surface, because if you read if we go back and listen to the sentence, he checks inside any big craters. And I don't think there are boxes on the moon, so it must be a hole on the moon's surface. Answer B. The working day is nearly over. It is time to check everything is in order before leaving for the night. Bob packs away his equipment and any unsold souvenirs into his rocket. And our question is, where does Bob store his souvenirs? And the key words that we are looking for are souvenirs. Where does he store them? Store. If you store something, that means you put it away either for safekeeping, or it's a place where you put all your things. For example, I could say to you, where do you store your cereal? Where do you store the shoes in your house? So where do you put them? Where does Bob put his souvenirs? We're going to look for the keyword souvenirs. The working day is nearly over. It is time to check everything is in order before leaving for the night. Bob packs away his equipment and any unsold souvenirs, and our key ideas, the answer is in here. Let's go back and read the question. Where does Bob store the souvenirs? Bob packs away his equipment and into his rocket. Where do they go? Into his rocket. He switches on the moon's night light before jetting off towards Earth. By this time, he's very tired. but he still has to keep his wits about him while flying the rocket. First question, what does Bob do after he switches on the moon's night light? Our keywords are moon's night light. This is what we're looking for in our text. And also switches. He switches. Oh, look, we found our first one. He switches on the moon. There we go. That means our answer is at the beginning. What does Bob do after he switches on the nightlight? He switches on the moon's nightlight before jetting off towards Earth. So he switches it on, and what does he do afterwards? That's right, he jets off towards Earth. What do you think he still has to keep his wits about him mean? So the phrase is, he still has to keep his wits about him. What does that mean? You can talk to your teddy. You can talk to your teddy or pause the video here. Right, where does it say he still has to keep his wits about him? There we go, keep his wits about him. And if we go back and read the sentence around it, by this time he's very tired, but he still has to keep his wits about him while flying the rocket. So he's flying the rocket. What does he need to do? He needs to be alert. He needs to focus. But what's wrong? He's very tired. So to keep his wits about him means he has to focus and be alert and pay attention while he's flying the rocket, even though he's tired. As he reaches Earth, it's about 5 o'clock. The rush hour is in full swing with everyone leaving for work and going home. Just like Bob. What is the rush hour? And if we look back, we can spot it here. The rush hour is in full swing. And it says everyone is leaving for work. That gives us some clues of what is happening. If you'd like to answer this question, pause the video here. Right, the rush hour is when everybody is leaving work to go home. So it's 5 o'clock, and that's usually when most people go home and everybody's out on the street in their cars or their trains and getting home, and it's very busy. What do you think the author means when he says the rush hour is in full swing? So if we extend our line, in full swing, you may pause the video here to have a think and turn to your teddy. Right, the rush hour is in full swing, so it's very busy. And the second part, in full swing, means that it's full of activity, that everybody is doing it. So the rush hour in full swing, it's very, very busy, and it's very busy all to go home. At home, Bob is just like anyone else. First, he has a long bath. Moon work can make you very grubby sometimes. The dust can get inside your suit. Find the word that means the same as dirty. The same as dirty. Now we need to look for a word, it's a synonym for dirty in here. And if we look in the first sentence, at home, Bob is just like anyone else. Is there a word in there that means the same as dirty? Anyone at home, Bob is just like anyone else. No, so it's not in the first sentence. Then we've got our second sentence. First, he has a long bath. Is there a word in there that means dirty? Well, bath doesn't. You have a bath if you're dirty, but bath doesn't mean dirty. Right, pause the video here, see if you can spot the word dirty. All right, moon work can make you very grubby, as sometimes the dust can get inside. So it makes you something, it makes you grubby. And the way we know if that is the same, if it means dirty, we can put the word dirty instead of grubby. Moon work can make you very dirty, as sometimes the dust can get inside your suit. Shall we see if we're correct? That's right. Grubby means the same as dirty. Then he goes to bed with a mug of cocoa. He sleeps soundly, bathed in moonbeams, very happy to be the man on the moon. And aliens. What are moonbeams? A beam is like a ray of light. So if the light is coming from the moon, There's a good clue for you. If you would like to answer this question independently, please pause the video here. And here it says it's bathed in moonbeams, and it means the light that comes from the moon. Does Bob like his job? How do you know? How do you know he likes his job? If you'd like to pause the video here to ask the question independently, you can. All right, now let's go. Does he like it? I think he does, because he's always very smiley and he does all these activities when he gets there. But actually, that's not going to help us. The answer is in this part here. Then he goes to bed with a mug of cocoa. That does not tell us if he likes his job. He sleeps soundly, bathed in moonbeams. That doesn't tell us he enjoys his job. However, if you look at this bit, it's very happy to be the man on the moon. And he says it's very happy to be the man on the moon, which means you know he likes his job. And where's my cursor? This is just lost it. There we go. Your challenge. Now, for this challenge, you might need to go back and listen to the story. Mrs. Cousins read you a story, Bob the Man on the Moon. If you could listen to that before you answer these questions. Can you number these events from 1 to 5 in the order that they happen in the book? Bob entertains a tourist with gymnastics. Bob meets his friends for lunch. Bob checks for aliens in the craters. Bob has a long hot bath, and Bob sweeps up the rubbish on the moon. Now we know the first thing that Bob does is he sweeps up the rubbish on the moon. We would like you to put the numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the order that they happen in the book. So what happens after Bob swept up the rubbish? So he's sweeping up the rubbish. What does he do next? If you think he has a long hot bath, you need to write number 2. If you think he checks for aliens in the craters, you need to write number 2. If you think Bob meets his friends for lunch, you need to write number 2 in that one. Or if you think he entertains a tourist, then you write number 2. Once you've written number 2, you go on to 3, 4, and 5. Right, that's the end of your comprehension. Have a lovely weekend, Gaudi, and I'll see you on Monday.